you are here listening with more than your ears. Something in you has been waiting for this moment, though you may not have named it. The air around you hums with quiet potential, not metaphor, not poetry, but literal energy moving in patterns so fine your eyes can't see them. You've been told that changing your life takes monumental effort, strategic action, endless planning. Yet here's the truth. Almost nobody lives by the quantum field, doesn't respond to force. It responds to frequency. Everywhere you go, you carry a signal. It's not just your words or your actions, it's the subtle rhythm of your thoughts, the texture of your emotions, the current running through your body. That signal doesn't fade into empty space. It meets the infinite ocean of energy. You live inside an ocean, where every possibility exists at once. From that ocean, reality condenses around you, sculpted by the vibration you hold most consistently. The quantum field is not far away, nor is it hidden in complex equations reserved for scientists. It is here now, woven into the very breath you take. Yet most people miss it because they're taught to look for answers only in what they can touch, measure, or control. The field works in the opposite way. It organizes itself around the unseen. Like a radio tuning into music, already in the air, your life tunes into the reality that matches your signal. This is the first and only insight you need to begin a shift frequency. First, form second. Everything you see is the echo of a vibration already sent. The job you want, the relationship you long for, the sense of peace you crave. They aren't goals in the future. They're frequencies in the field right now. You either match them or you don't. Here's where most people trip. They send a mixed signal. They think abundance, yet feel scarcity in their gut. They speak of possibility, while their nervous system hums with fear. The quantum field doesn't parse your intention from your doubt. It takes the sum total of your vibration and mirrors it back. That's why effort without alignment often leads to exhaustion. You're trying to outwork your own frequency. Think of the observer effect in quantum experiments, where the mere act of watching changes the behavior of particles. Your attention is not a neutral spotlight. It's a sculpting tool. Wherever it lands, it changes the shape of reality. This is not wishful thinking. It's the physics of participation. You are not just living in the field, you are interacting with it, constantly influencing the form it takes with every moment of focused awareness. When you fully grasp this, the path to change becomes clear. You stop trying to push reality into shape with willpower alone. You start with your internal tuning. The work is to sense your current signal, to feel whether it's steady, scattered, or pulled in conflicting directions. Awareness is the dial. Without it, you're spinning through static, wondering why the music won't come through. Imagine your life as a glass of water placed next to a speaker. Play a low, unsteady tone, and the water shivers without forming a pattern. Play a pure, steady note, and ripples appear in harmonious shapes. Your energy works the same way when you hold a coherent frequency. The water of the quantum field shapes itself into order around you. This isn't about perfection. You will have days where fear returns, where doubt clouds your vision. The difference now is that you'll notice. You'll recognize the shift in your signal, and instead of reacting blindly, you'll retune. Breath by breath, choice by choice, you return to the vibration you want mirrored. Right now, you can feel the edges of this truth pressing into you. The simplicity of it is almost unsettling because it strips away excuses. It's not that you lack opportunity. It's not that you've missed your chance. It's that the field has been faithfully reflecting the signal you've been sending, whether or not you are aware of it. Change the signal, and the reflection must change. This is the quantum shift, the one insight that changes everything. You don't manifest from the outside in. You manifest from the inside out. The field listens to what you are not what you say you want. So pause. Sense the hum beneath your thoughts. That is your point of power. In this moment, you can shift it. Not tomorrow. Not when circumstances improve. Now. Because the quantum field is always now waiting for your frequency to tell it which version of reality to bring into form. You've stepped onto a place most people overlook, the living bridge between science and spirit. It doesn't resemble stone or steel. It feels like recognition, that quiet moment when two worlds once thought separate reveal themselves as one continuous landscape. On one side rests the precise language of quantum physics. On the other, the timeless language of spiritual awakening. Each has been telling the same story in a different tongue. In the lab, scientists have discovered that matter is not truly solid. At the smallest scale, particles hover in a haze of probabilities, shifting states based on observation. The observer effect is more than a curious anomaly. It's a reminder that consciousness belongs in the equation. Meanwhile, mystics across centuries have whispered that the outer reflects the inner, that attention is a creative force. One uses equations, the other parables. Both point to the same truth: awareness shapes reality. This bridge is not theoretical for you. You've already crossed it without naming it. Recall the last time your mood transformed a room's atmosphere, or when a thought lingered only for the very thing it described to appear in your path. Science might call this selective perception or field resonance. Spirit calls it alignment. Both agree you were participating in the unfolding of events rather than watching from the sidelines. Here, separation collapses. The idea that physics belongs in laboratories while spirit belongs in temples dissolves. What you sense as energy in meditation is the same underlying force physicists call the quantum field. Quieting the mind doesn't just feel different, it changes electromagnetic patterns in your brain and body, altering how you interact with the field itself. Picture yourself midway between two shores. Behind you lies the rigid certainty of a material-only world reality, fixed you small. Ahead stretches a horizon of possibility, a living field that responds to you. This bridge is not about abandoning one shore for the other. It's about walking with both beneath your feet, letting each strengthen the other. The scientific side offers clarity. It explains that your body is built from atoms, mostly empty space, held in place by patterns of force. The spiritual side offers meaning. It reminds you those patterns respond to your inner state, that connection or separation leaves an imprint on the field. Ancient alchemists worked this bridge in secret. Their formulas for transformation weren't confined to metals they applied to the mind. They knew the same laws that shift matter could shift consciousness. What quantum physicists now measure, the alchemists described in metaphor. Energy changes form when its environment changes, and consciousness is part of that environment. Right now, this means the gap between wanting and having is not crossed through sheer effort alone. It's crossed through alignment, bringing conscious focus into harmony with the deeper state, so the signal sent into the field is unmistakable. The bridge is where you practice that harmony, using science for precision, spirit for depth. Here's the paradox. Understanding the mechanics doesn't strip away the wonder. The observer effect makes synchronicity more breathtaking. Recognizing that your nervous system shifts your electromagnetic field makes each breath in meditation feel like a direct act of creation. Walk further. Notice how the air feels lighter, clearer. Contradiction fades. You no longer have to choose between logic or intuition, proof or trust. They work together not as rivals, but as partners. This is the insight most miss. Clinging to one shore limits you. Power comes from standing here in between. From this vantage, both directions connect. Quantum mechanics and ancient teachings are not rival paths. They're reflections in the same river. You are the scientist studying the flow and the traveler drinking from it. Take this bridge into your own life. See where you've been splitting your understanding, keeping real life in one box, spiritual practice in another. Let them merge. Feel how awareness itself is the crossing point, the place where the invisible becomes visible. Once you know this, reality stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something you're shaping with every step. You stand before an inner crucible, a vessel holding everything you've been, all you've carried, and all you have yet to become. This is not a place of judgment. It is a place of transformation. The ancient alchemists worked in dimly lit rooms, surrounded by glass flasks and metals, aiming to turn base matter into gold. Yet their true laboratory was the self. The lead they sought to refine was the dense vibration of fear, shame, and false identity. The gold they longed for was the radiant essence buried beneath those layers. Quantum reality confirms what they sensed. Matter is not fixed. Every atom in your body is a field of vibrating energy shaped by patterns of information. Change the pattern and the form changes. The alchemists spoke in metaphor to protect their knowledge fires that purified waters, that dissolved air, that lifted the spirit into clarity. Each stage of their process mirrored stages of inner work, much like each quantum state mirrors a potential version of you. You've carried the weight of lead before, the tension in your chest when you feel not enough, the quiet self-doubt that stirs before you act, the way your voice shifts when you try to prove your value. These are not random moods. They are frequencies, stable patterns repeated until they became your default broadcast. In the quantum field, they are grooves in a record. Unless you lift the needle, the song continues. Transmutation begins with seeing. Alchemy starts when you recognize the raw material without denial. In quantum terms, this is when the wave collapses into a particle, the unseen becomes seen. Simply observing a fear changes it. Awareness is heat. It softens what felt solid. Next comes separation. Alchemists called this solutio, dissolving what is false so truth can rise. Modern language calls it deconditioning. You notice which beliefs are yours and which were inherited. You see which emotions are echoes of old wounds rather than real-time responses. Quantum science would describe this as disentangling your energy from past interference. Freed threads allow the field to reorganize. Then comes recombination, coagulatio. Here you consciously choose the vibration you want as your baseline, not as fantasy, but as a lived state. If the old self carried scarcity, you cultivate abundance in breath posture and nervous system. If the old self carried fear, you anchor safety into your daily rhythm. The field mirrors the coherence of this choice until your outer life aligns. Metals are refined through heat. Impurities rise to the surface and are skimmed away. In you, those impurities are outdated patterns. They surface in discomfort, in repeated conflict, in moments where old reactions try to reclaim you. Most see this as failure. The alchemist sees it as proof that transformation is underway. The gold is revealing itself. This is where poetry meets practicality. Quantum biology shows your thoughts influence your body's chemistry. Change thought patterns and you alter hormones, neurotransmitters, even how your cells read DNA. Ancient alchemists might say, you are altering the elixir that feeds your being. Different words, same truth, inner refinement changes the blueprint from which your life unfolds. Transformation speed varies. In the quantum field, change can be instantaneous. Probability collapses the moment a coherent signal is sent. Yet your nervous system often adjusts gradually. Like a tuned instrument, a string can be tightened quickly, but still needs time to hold pitch without slipping. In this stage, subtle awareness is essential. Each thought and micro shift in feeling sends a signal to the field. You are sculpting with vibration, not hammering with force. When old patterns resurface, meet them with the steady heat of attention instead of resistance. This accelerates their dissolution. Ask yourself now, what is the heaviest lead you still carry? Is it a belief about your worth? A story about what's possible? A feeling of disconnection? Whatever it is, it can be refined, not by pretending it isn't there, but by shifting its frequency. The quantum field has no attachment to who you were yesterday. It responds to who you are now. The philosopher's stone of legend is often imagined as an object. In truth, it is a state of consciousness, the awareness that your frequency can be chosen at will, that nothing within you is fixed. The stone is formed through self-honesty, through surrender, through the steady heat of awareness. When you claim the role of inner alchemist, you stop waiting for the world to change first. You change, and the world follows. Fear becomes courage. Doubt becomes trust. In quantum language, the probability field tilts toward your chosen reality. Close your eyes. Sense the crucible within. Feel the heat of awareness refining what no longer serves. See the gold of your essence rising bright, unshakable. This is not escape. It is creation. A signal the field cannot ignore. The work is never truly finished. Yet each transmutation makes the next one easier. You begin to welcome the process, to trust the heat, to recognize the shimmer of gold when it appears. The laboratory has always been here inside you, ready to turn lead into light. Two particles emerge from the same spark of energy. They drift apart miles, continents, or galaxies, yet a shift in one is echoed instantly in the other. No signal crosses the space between them. Time does not delay the effect. This is quantum entanglement, a connection that exists beyond physical distance. Now turn inward. You carry this kind of entanglement within yourself. The conscious mind, the part you use to decide, plan, and speak, is bound to the subconscious, a vast archive beneath awareness. Every memory, belief, and identity you've collected still holds a thread to the present moment. You might believe you've left certain experiences behind, yet their frequency can still pulse quietly in your field. The subconscious communicates in images, sensations, and tones, rather than logic. In quantum terms, it's the hidden code that determines how your reality renders. You can set clear conscious goals, yet if the subconscious sends a conflicting vibration, the field receives mixed instructions. The result feels like resistance progress in some areas, repeated stalling in others. Think of the subconscious as your entangled partner in creation. The field doesn't isolate your surface thoughts from your deeper broadcast. It reads the total signal. If your conscious voice says, "I am abundant," while your subconscious hums scarcity, the stronger, more consistent frequency wins, usually the one held below awareness. This is why manifestation can feel inconsistent or out of reach. Entanglement also moves outward. You're linked energetically to people, places, and events you've interacted with. That's why you can sense tension in a room before anyone speaks, or think of someone moments before they message you. The web connecting everything is responsive, alive, immediate. The opportunity is profound. In the same way, entangled particles influence each other instantly. A shift in your subconscious frequency sends ripples through your entire life. You cannot control others directly, yet you can change the vibration of the link between you. New responses, new opportunities, new patterns emerge from that change. Begin by revealing your hidden broadcasts. Notice recurring patterns in relationships, finances, or health. Ask if this keeps showing up, what belief or feeling must be active underneath. This is alchemy in action, bringing the unseen into view. In quantum language, it's like measuring a particle to discover its state before directing it toward a different outcome. Once revealed, you can retune. Visualization is powerful here, not as escape, but as rehearsal. When you imagine a new state vividly, the subconscious starts to treat it as familiar. Neural pathways adapt, hormonal signals shift, the field receives a coherent update. Over time, your inner entangled partner stops pulling toward the old baseline and moves with your conscious intent. The mirror effect makes this clear. In an entangled reality, what you meet externally often reflects what's active internally. If people overlook your ideas, it might point toward an internal pattern of self-minimizing. If opportunities bypass you, it could mirror a belief that you're not ready. These reflections are not punishments. They're indicators showing you exactly where your tuning needs refinement. You can test this in deliberate ways. Choose a state calm trust or creative flow, and hold it through breath posture and thought for a set time. Watch how interactions shift, how the tone of conversations changes, how subtle opportunities appear. You're not forcing the world. You're changing the field to which the world responds. In experiments entangled, particles remain connected no matter the distance or time apart. Your subconscious patterns won't fade on their own. They respond to steady new input. This is why words alone rarely work unless they're charged with feeling. An affirmation spoken mechanically doesn't alter the field. An affirmation felt deeply anchored in the body becomes a tuning fork that calls the subconscious into harmony. Entanglement is not a trap from the past. It's a channel of influence you can direct. You can soften connections that drain you, strengthen those that elevate you. This doesn't always mean ending relationships. It often means shifting the vibration you bring to them so the dynamic transforms naturally. Mystics have worked with this for centuries through prayer ceremony and focused intention. Science now examines it through neuroplasticity, epigenetics, and field theory. Both point toward the same conclusion: your inner state is not fixed, and the signals you send can be rewritten. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a web of light stretching out from you in all directions, each strand a connection to someone someplace or a potential future. See your conscious mind as one hand on the loom, your subconscious as the other. Together, they weave your experience. The more they work in sync, the more coherent and beautiful the pattern becomes. Treat your subconscious as an ally waiting for clear instruction. Feed it images, sensations, and narratives that match your chosen reality. As its frequency changes, your external entanglements shift as well, drawing new patterns into view. In the quantum field, nothing exists in isolation. Every shift you make here moves outward instantly. The real question is not whether you are influencing the web, it's what song your threads are singing right now. Reality does not arrive all at once. It condenses around perception, shaped by the vibration you hold and the meaning you assign to what you see. The quantum field contains infinite versions of the moment in front of you. Yet your focus acts like a sculptor's chisel, carving one pathway from countless possibilities. Imagine two people walking down the same street. One notices litter cracks in the pavement, peeling paint on door frames, their chest tightens. The other catches the way sunlight pools on a wall, hears laughter spilling from an open window, feels rhythm in the sound of footsteps. Both occupy the same physical space, yet their worlds could not be more different. The split lies in perception, not the street. In quantum terms, observation is never passive. The act of looking influences what takes form. Expectation primes your awareness, filtering for what matches. A small shift in where you place your attention can alter the entire tone of a day. You aren't making things up. You're selecting one thread from the vast weave already present. Your state determines what you notice. Look through scarcity, and even abundance feels fragile. Look through possibility, and even challenges reveal openings. This isn't pretending circumstances are different. It's choosing the lens that lets you act from coherence instead of reaction. Ancient teachings spoke of the single eye, a way of seeing that cuts through illusion. Neuroscience describes something similar in the brain's reticular activating system, the filter that decides which sensory data reaches conscious awareness. Change the criteria, and the filter changes. Whether mystical or scientific, the principle is the same. Your perception controls which slice of the quantum field becomes visible. Perception and frequency feed each other. The vibration you carry influences what you notice, and what you notice reinforces that vibration. To break a limiting cycle, you interrupt it with intention. Coherence sharpens the lens when thought, feeling, and body align. Your perception clears. Without it, the image distorts, and the field mirrors that distortion back. Think of adjusting a camera. A blurred image isn't the fault of the subject, it's the focus. You don't need to rebuild the entire scene. You need to bring it into clarity. When your inner state steadies, your outer world aligns more easily. The field responds to a clear signal like sound responds to a perfectly tuned instrument. Test this with deliberate micro-shifts. Spend one day choosing curiosity as your primary state. Watch how people's faces, tone, and openness change. Then spend another day holding gratitude as your lens. Conversations shift, opportunities appear. The field doesn't just reflect the frequency, it reorganizes itself to fit it. The subconscious joins in here. If old programming tells you life is unsafe, your perception scans for threats. Rewrite that code, and safety starts to appear in your awareness. Over time, the baseline frequency changes, and the field reshapes to match. Perception becomes both a tool for shaping reality and a method for rewriting the self. By now, your role as inner alchemist is clear. You've learned to sense vibration, walk the bridge between science and spirit, transmute heavy states into luminous ones, and align conscious with subconscious into a single broadcast. With perception as your sculptor's tool, you no longer wait for reality to change, you engage in shaping it. Pause. Close your eyes. Imagine your awareness as a beam of light moving through infinite potential. Wherever it lands, that possibility brightens until it solidifies into form. You're not chasing outcomes. You're illuminating them into being. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. The field mirrors your vibration, and your perception is the lens that defines its shape. See the quantum field as a vast garden at night. Your perception is the flashlight. Wherever you shine it, growth accelerates, colors return, air feels alive. The rest waits in shadow for your light. Nothing is gone, it's simply awaiting your attention. Your practical checklist for today. 1. Begin each morning by choosing a state to carry into the day. 2. Pause midday to check your frequency. Reset with breath and posture. 3. Before sleep, recall 3 moments when perception shifted your experience and store them as new templates. You are not a spectator in this life. You are a sculptor, a keeper of frequency, a weaver in the quantum web. Every thought, every breath, every shift in focus is a seed. What you plant now becomes the landscape you walk tomorrow. So I invite you, now share one word for the state you choose from here forward. Let it be a declaration, a note, in the song you're sending into the field. If this journey stirred something in you, subscribe and step fully into this movement of conscious creators. This is not just a channel. It's a gathering of minds reshaping what's possible. Somewhere in the field, a version of you already lives the reality you've imagined. Each choice, each perception, each vibration brings you closer. The path is not hidden. It's written in the signal you hold.